Even though there's quite a lot of residence options around the world, there aren't too many citizenships by investment. Caribbean islands are definitely some of the most popular destinations, and even though EU and other countries are coming down on the regulations and increasing their cost at the moment, there's quite a few issues going on the ground. Hello, my name is Tiana, and as a part of the strategy team, for years we have been helping high net worth individuals make their life better by going where they're treated best and making sure they do so legally. You might have noticed that when we talk about content on our channel, we emphasize the word legally. Why this is important, you will see on example of today's video. So, acquiring citizenship in the Caribbean has multiple options. Let's say there are five countries that actually have these programs, and those are St. Kitts, Antigua, Dominica, Grenada, and St. Lucia. Now, all of these have the main route, which is a donation route, which varies from one island to another, and also the amount varies based on the number of family members. The second option that is available for most of them is the real estate option. In most cases, we will be in favor of, let's say, donation route, just because it is very straightforward, it has no hassle, and it will not cause you a headache. But when you hear about the donation versus investment, of course, a lot of people will say, why wouldn't I invest money instead of just putting it down the drain? Some of the main reasons why is because the real estate route for the actual citizenship by investment is not as straightforward as someone might think. So in order to qualify through the real estate route in the Caribbean, you cannot just purchase any property that you can reside in. It is actually government-approved investors who have projects, and then you are buying essentially a timeshare that will let you spend about a week per year in the property. You have to keep the property for 5 years, and then you can resell it. Usually the minimum requirement for the real estate option is $200,000. However, in addition to the actual investment of $200,000, there are additional government fees. These vary from island to island from $35,000 to $55,000 per main applicant, with additional fees applied for the partner, children, any other dependents that you might have with you, which essentially could lead you to actually paying a very high government cost in addition to the investment in real estate. The citizenship by investment units in the Caribbean have been going through a process of actually warning agents and actual developers on the ground when it comes to the rule following. So legally speaking, when it comes to the programs themselves, what is required is that in order for a person to apply for the citizenship by investment in the Caribbean, they must actually pay off the entire $200,000 minimum investment in one of the projects that are on the ground. Now, what has been happening is that quite a lot of developers have been running a scheme that is not very legal, because they will offer this opportunity for clients to actually put forward a payment of about $70,000 to $100,000 and then pay off the rest within the 5 years. Now, this has gone too far in some instances, because initially it was, okay, we give you 5 years to make a payment, and then you become the owner of your shares completely. And then over the years, those who could not comply with rules and do not pay off everything, essentially they donate this money to the developer. So in order to completely finalize the application and actually submit it to the citizenship unit, the developer has to present the proof of payment. So what they were doing in some instances was actually opening offshore accounts and then paying off the difference to the account instead of the client, and showing that as a proof to the citizenship by investment unit. Now, there's quite a lot of problems here. Of course, you would say they are helping them out, but in some cases, what it has led to is some developers inventing a project, not even finishing it, and just taking money from the client if they cannot pay it off until the end of the 5th-year period, which would be a collateral to keep in case they don't pay it off. Now, this wouldn't be too much of a problem if it wasn't against the legality of the program itself, and if it wasn't creating the problem for the local agents, for the country, and for the client. And the biggest problem here would be the client, because the main issue why the client might be doing something like this is because of the misinformation. If they didn't receive the information on what could happen if something is done illegally, then they might go ahead with it without knowing in advance. So the ways this would impact agents is, of course, having their license revoked. There is a rule in the Caribbean that only agents on the ground who have the license can submit these applications for the clients. So if their license is revoked, if they cannot reobtain it, then that would mean the failure of their business. Second one is for the developer. So these citizenships are given in return for the actual investment in the country. So if the project doesn't exist, then the developer could be actually blacklisted from having any future project. And the third one, of course, which could be detrimental for a lot of people, would be the country itself, because we already have so many issues with EU changing rules for the Caribbean countries and just asking for so many things to comply with in order for them to actually keep their programs alive, that things like this and the failure of the due diligence process done properly could actually lead to termination of the program, or at least revoking the access to Schengen area, which is something that that is one of the best values of these passports. And the fourth one, of course, is the damage that could be done to the client. If client is doing something like this unknowingly, and let's say they obtained the citizenship for them and their family, and a couple of years later, the government is doing an audit, and they realize that something was not done as prescribed initially by the law, this could result in revoking the passport. This could result in just a permanent damage on the record, and this would be doing more harm than actual assistance to the client. So there's so many things to take into consideration here, and when you're doing things, it's so important to be well informed about them, because if the program says that you have to invest $200,000 in advance before you can submit the application fully, that probably means that that amount has to be invested. It's been well over a year since the citizenship by investment units from these Caribbean islands have been warning the agents and developers. And it does seem like those warnings have been quite soft so far, but if things are going to keep going like this, then they have to increase the donation price, which would probably mean less and less applications coming forward. Then they will be performing better due diligence on the agents and developers, and maybe this can result in the real estate option not being an option anymore. I hope this video was helpful and you got some more insight into what is actually happening on the ground, because these are not things that are widely spoken about. So if you have any questions, please leave the comment down below, and check out our other content, of course. And if you would like our assistance, making sure you're doing everything legally, go to our webpage, nomadcapitalist.com, and apply to become our client. Thank you for watching.